Hello there guys, and of course, welcome yourselves in for yet another one with us, the Review Bros. My name's Aaron. Good to have you joining along, and again, of course, a pre-workout review. And this one's been getting a lot of traction, a lot of hype over on TikTok. I would consider this to be like a TikTok pre-workout, and we do see them from time to time, you know, Overdrive, this one, and let's show you what it's called. It's by the guys at Darkstims, and I think it's just called Darkstims pre-workout. We're going to be running this one today through the usual components of any review. It's the taste, the price, the label, and the effects of this product. And as I mentioned, a hyped pre-workout over on TikTok. I never know if the hype's true there or if it's bot accounts, real accounts. The problem is with the internet these days, anything is believable or looks believable. But today, it's going through the true paces as I give you a 100% honest review on my usages using it, and Craig's been using this one as well, so we can give you a thorough, in-depth and comprehensive review. And all we ask in return, of course, a thumbs up on the video, your subscription to the channel, and any comments you have down below, especially if you've used this pre-workout. Let us know what you think of it, and let's get into this review of
Darkstims.
Okay, so of course, guys, first segment of any review is the taste and the mixability of this product. And it comes, a thumbs up must be shown right now. It comes in 6 different flavors. I always like to see that because it gives the user, the consumer, a real chance of choosing something they like. In this case, I have the bubblegum flavor, which personally to me sounded the most interesting, but of course, taste being a subjective factor. Now, it is in this flavor 2 level scoops for 20 grams. I imagine that'll be relatively similar in all of the flavors. In goes 1. It has that classic bubblegum smell, which I like. Those yellow stick ones in particular, I never remember the name of them. Obviously, I've used several bubblegum pre-workouts in the past. How's it? Oh, it's strong in the air actually. How's this one going to compare to those? Let's find out. So, I've used it a couple of times. Craig's used it a couple of times. Mixability, I can't show you it, but it is good actually, I've got to say. It's a good start. Let's get in with the flavour component. Let's do it. It's nice. I'd say it's accurate. I would say perhaps it's a little bit more mild than some other bubblegums I've used in the past. There is a spicy end to the flavour, that must be said. It's probably like black pepper. I need to look at the label. I always try and blind test these things. I imagine it's got black pepper or cayenne pepper or grains of paradise, something like that in the formulation, because there is a spicy end to the bubblegum. I've got to say it's not too overpowering. It's just there, you will notice it. Now, what would I give it out of 10? I'm gonna give it just a safe score. 7.5 out of 10. It's doable, I'm really not complaining. I've had worse, I've had better. Let's move into the price now. We now talk about the price of the product. Is it going to break the bank? Do you need to get a mortgage down payment to get your hands on this one? Well, the answer is actually no. Now, these guys have been compared to DFS, and if you know, it's a UK thing, I imagine, they're always on sale. And in fact, almost every TikTok post over on the page of Darkstims is about an unbelievable sale. So much so, there's lots of troll comments about, oh, I thought this was the last sale, you said no more, this, that, the other. It's all about on sale and TikTok coupons and all of that. And that makes it quite difficult actually for us to price it, because we know it is possible to get cheaper. And you can also subscribe on the website. I've never liked that sort of function with supplement companies, but hey ho, if you're absolutely determined to get your hands on this pre-workout each and every time, then it might be worth doing that. Now, we can only really go by if I was just a one-time purchaser of the pre-workout, because I'm going to be real, in the supplement world, there is very little loyalty. People are always assuming the grass is greener, and they're always looking to buy another product. I've got to say, it's very, very rare. It's rare that people will continue to buy the same pre-workout again and again, unless they really love it, because they'll always assume something else might do better. Now, that's, like I said, it's a bit more difficult, but you'll head on over to the Darkstims website. If you're a one-time purchaser, it's £34.99, and you do get 25 servings a container from this. There's none of this 20, 40 malarkey, it's 25 straight down the line. That gets a thumbs up. And when you do the math, you divide it up by that price, it comes in at £1.40 per serving. Now, we have ourselves here at Review Bros, you know the drill, a consistent pricing scale. It compares fairly the pre-workout prices per serving from pre-workouts across the entire world, where a 5 out of 10 is the price of an average pre-workout now in 2025. This one is a 6.5 out of 10 on that one-time purchase thing on Darkstims. Obviously, if you get it cheaper, great. If you can't, because you're not on TikTok watching it, waiting for it, all the rest of it, then you would just buy that one-time purchase. 6.5 is still considerably cheaper than your average pre-workout on today's market, so it gets a thumbs up. Let's move into the label now and see where the money is going. Okay, we're into the label of this pre-workout. It's Darkstims, and actually this is the heavy component that the brand owner, I assume, is pushing, the fact that it's all clinical and it's the best you can get, right? That's what he's ultimately saying. Now, let's go through it. That's the easiest way, really. There it is for you to see it on the screen right now. As mentioned, 2 level scoops get you that serving size of 20 grams in this flavour at the very least. Now, you'll start off, I'm going to skip past the energy, carbohydrates and sugars. You have to put those on there. But we start off with a nice dosage of pure L-citrulline. Now, that's in there for pumps. It's nitric oxide production in the bloodstream, helping with vascularity and vasodilation and giving you ultimately the pump. And it's a good dose. Beta-alanine, another good dose, 3.5 grams. We're looking at 300 milligrams more than the clinical dose. For the beta tingle, the paresthesia, itchy effect as pre-workout kicks in, and of course when the body's saturated with it, it's going to help you with endurance benefits. We have red night up next at 2 grams, a respectable dosage. It's nitrates from beetroot, therefore turning into an instantaneous type of form of nitric oxide. Pumps, endurance benefits, blood flow, heart health. It's really a jack of all trades one, this one. I mean, ultimately from a pre-workout perspective, of course, pumps are the primary. We have L-tyrosine at 1.5 grams, which again is a good dose. It's an amino acid responsible for cognition, clarity, focus benefits, and hopefully some mood elevation. Coming up next in a similar stream is the CDP choline at a dosage of 800 milligrams. Again, a good dosage. Now, choline is going to help you again wake the brain up, focus benefits, getting you dialed in on your training at hand. I like to see it. Those combinations should be quite good. Then we have up next the love it or hate it ingredient L-theanine. I'm going to give you the positives of it. It helps with anti-crash and it helps with anti-jitters and anti-stimulants to a degree. Now, obviously, some people are sensitive to some of these hardcore stimulants, even caffeine as such. L-theanine is like a blanket to that, and it kind of tunnels in and suppresses overstimulation, excessive heart rate and jitters. Other people don't like it because it can do that, but do it too well. Now, we know L-theanine is around a sleep component, you know, it's going to help dull you down. And some people think that's the opposite of effect of a pre-workout. So I've actually never minded it as much as some. We have up next caffeine anhydrous, 250 milligrams. Now, that's a slightly lower dose than an average pre-workout, but it is topped up nicely with decaffeine malate as an infinity form at 150 milligrams, giving us a total caffeine yield here of 362.5 milligrams. Now, caffeine anhydrous hits as a standard about 20-30 minutes after taking it. Infinity is going to digest and be utilized at a slightly slower rate. So it's kind of working with the L-theanine. It's going to help with no crash, you know, as you get towards the end of your training. Hopefully we've still got some energy to boot. And we then get into estrogen and bioperine, 50 milligrams and 10 milligrams. As mentioned, the 10 milligrams of bioperine, I imagine that's the spicy effect. Those two are ultimately around the absorption and digestion of the pre-workout. I always like to see the double duo here because we've got a 30-minute window to really utilize all the other ingredients, and what better to do it than to digest it well. What do I think of the label? He's got a point. It's all well dosed. There isn't anything here I'm looking at and going, no, that's short. It's got pumps, it's got focus, and it's got energy. So it's got the three components we look for. It looks good on paper. Let's see how it performs in the real world in training. Okay, it's the bit you've been waiting for. We land now at the primary segment of any review. It's the effects of the pre-workout in training. The most important part, right? That's why we're here. That's why we spend money. That's why we take pre-workout all together. We're not taking it for the taste, sipping it by the swimming pool. No, we're here for true world effects. And that's what I'm here to bring you. So we start the journey with the beta-alanine. If it's in your pre-workout, it's normally the first thing you feel. No different in this one. And actually, I've got to say the beta-alanine effect was nice here. I had a strong tingling sensation. It came in effectively. And I must just quickly mention, actually, Craig's been using this. It's no surprise we've got the same effects style scoring. So, 8 out of 10 on the tingle scale, maybe pushing slightly higher. I liked it. It set the scene, a sense of urgency. It lets you know when your pre-workout's ready to go, let's be honest. We know it's a placebo effect, but if it turns the brain on in such a way, so be it. Now what came in next is a very, very, very smooth and nice wave of energy. Let's be honest. We're looking at a slightly lower anhydrous version here with a top up, of course, of Infinergy. And I'd say that was about accurate. It came on nicely and stayed consistent through training. That's the truth. It wasn't standout, it wasn't wow, but it was good. I enjoyed the level of energy. It definitely performs against any body part, any day, leg day, back day. It's enough to do the job. Now, let's talk about another element we look for in the pre-workout world. It's the pumps. The pumps also were really good. They were nasty, nice contractions. We've also, of course, let's be real, we're looking at another element, the third element of a pre-workout we look for, the focus. You stayed focused on the muscle training group. You stayed hardcore training during your session. It did the job, and therefore you had a nice mind to muscle connection, which actually tied in a little bit more with those pumps. All in all, it performed well. I would actually say it performed in line with the label. There wasn't any holes. There wasn't anything that fell short. It really was a nice experience. I will say wasn't an eventful experience. It's not a pre-workout I'm going to remember in 10 years time as a fantastic pre-workout. Now they've mentioned obviously not to compare it to some of these American hardcore pre-workouts, which actually is not just America. We do get them elsewhere, including here in the UK, let's be honest, where they're a bit more hard hitting. This is a daily driver pre-workout. It's a general use pre-workout that ticks all the boxes. And it doesn't come with any negatives either. There's no nausea, cold sweats, jitters. I would say the energy perhaps was a little bit lower than I expected with that 362, but I think the L-theanine really did push it down a little bit. Obviously, we are looking at it being a 1-to-1 on the anhydrous version, so perhaps the L-theanine just held it back a little bit. Everything was good. I'm really not here to deny that. I'd just say it was a bit uneventful. Like I say, if you ask me in a year's time, what do I think of this one? I'd be on the struggle to remember fence. Now, I've been recently on a stim break, you know, my hydration, diet, all of that's on point at the minute and has been for the last couple of weeks. It still just didn't tick every box I was after. I'd like to have been a little bit stronger, but also on the same time, the formula looks really good. And I've got to say the price point is good as well, especially if you do get it cheaper than the one-time purchase. not much can be said. You know, it's just one of those pre-workouts that's daily driver, ticks the boxes, but on the other hand, if I was using this pre-workout and I purchased it, I would personally be looking for the next best thing because it's a bit uneventful. And people are always looking for something a bit eventful. If that sounds right to you, then fantastic. Do check it on out. Of course, to you watching at home, appreciate you watching. And as always, stay stimmed, dark stim.